Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. Welcome to my channel. It's my daily vlog, so whatever I'm up to today is what you're gonna see here. And today I am working a little bit more on my Star Wars jacket. That's right, moving along. The goal today is to complete the lining. So if you recall from last time, we got the collar attached, we got the sleeves attached, so the whole outer portion of the jacket is intact. And at this point, what's left is the lining and the buttons. So I'm hoping, planning, goals to get through putting the lining together today. I'm not going to complete the buttons today because I went through my button stash, which I will show you at the end of this video, and I don't have enough of the same matching buttons. This coat is calling for 15 buttons, and at best I have 10 matching buttons. So I can't finish the buttons today, but we'll be doing that soon. So let's see if we can get through putting all this lining together. So just like last time, I have my pieces laid out, all organized on the floor here. And all of these pieces that are left are what will be used to make the lining of the coat. And just as a reminder, this is where we left off. So this will button like that. The sleeves are attached, collar's attached. We have this cool Star Wars fabric. Got some Death Stars and 3PO and R2. So this is gonna be great. So the first step is I have to do some stay stitching. So I have some pins in place, you'll see, and I use the pattern to figure out where the stay stitching goes, and I use the pins to mark it, and I'm gonna put the stay stitch in, which is just really a standard stitch, but it's used for stability. So it helps, like that's probably a part of the garment that's gonna have a little extra tension, so it needs a little extra support. So I'm gonna put those stay stitches in, and then the next step is attaching the upper and lower portion of the back. And this is my stay stitch. So you can see right at the top, just a single stitch. So now I have pinned together the bodice back, which is this portion up here, to the skirt back. So now I have to sew that together. Now I have to pin that back section I just showed you to the front pieces that I put the stay stitch in, and they get connected at the shoulders. So I'm going to pin those in place, then sew them together. So the next step is I have to attach the bodice side lining to the bodice back lining. So this piece, this is bodice side back, so piece 10. And this is bodice side front, piece 8. So I'm gonna have to attach them at, see these markers, these little triangles? I have to attach them so those markers line up. So I'm going to pin the lining pieces in place, and then I'm going to sew them together. And I just dropped my box of pins. So I figured this was a teachable moment when you make a mess. I have a trick for cleaning up pins, so let me show you what happens when I do things like this and make messes with pins that I don't want to step on. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. I dropped all these pins, the whole box overturned. What am I gonna do? I have a magnet. Got this David Bowie magnet, could be any kind of magnet. And I'm gonna turn our box over. And we are gonna pick them up with the magnet and put them in the box. Now that I got that mess cleaned up, the next step was to pin the skirt to the bodice. So we have that bodice front and side that I sewed together, and then that's the skirt. And they are currently pinned. So I just have to sew that in place on both the left and the right side. So the next step, these side pieces that I just put together, I have to pin to the front pieces, which are these blue, and the back pieces that I had sewed together at the shoulders. So I need to line it all up, sew it together. So at this point, I decided I was going to take my other me out, which is, I have one of these, like torsos. I forget what the exact term for these things are, but I call it my other me. Because at this point, I need to attach the lining to the jacket, and it's just much easier to have it set up on this. So I have the jacket already sitting on my other me. And then this is the lining, and it's telling me I have to set it up right sides together, which means, so I have all my seams, this is the wrong side, this is the right side, the outside is the right side. So, just put this right on top. I'm gonna pull this collar out, like that, and actually, no, we have to tuck the collar in. We are going to tuck the collar in. Okay. Pardon me. So, okay, put this on right side to right side. And we are going to have to pin all the way up, all the way down, all around the bottom. Then we're going to sew all around the edges, just like a perimeter. The only place that's going to get left open is on the back at the very bottom here. We're going to leave a panel down here open, and once this is sewn together, we're going to invert the whole thing through this hole, and then we'll be able to close this hole. So that's the step I'm up to. So now I got to pin all this and sew it. So now I have the lining attached. So you could see on the inside, the lining is all there. Excellent. And then after I had attached the lining and turned it right side out, I went over and I ironed all of the edges. So you'll see, like these seams, these are nice and flat. because they've been pressed. Almost done. Now I just have to do the sleeves. So I got the sleeves all attached. I just have to hem the cuffs, but I'll do that the next day when I work on the buttons. So I did say, speaking of buttons, that I would show you the button stash. So let me show you what I have for buttons and why I didn't just outright go and buy buttons when I got this pattern and the project. So this is my button stash. My grandma was collecting buttons for some reason, unbeknownst to anyone, just had a tremendous amount of buttons. And like, you can see how old these are. Look at this. That's Walmart 97 cents. I have no idea what year they were using a marker like that, like a price tag like that. But yeah, I have a tremendous amount of buttons. So I always check the button stash before I buy any buttons. And this is where we are leaving off today. So totally intact, totally lined. The only thing is the raw edges on the sleeves. And like I said, the buttons. And the buttons like this, it's spinning around. So like this flap will go on top of this flap and will button. So that's where the buttons will go. So I put a lot of time into this today. I'd say getting the lining all together and the pressing and laying it out. I think I've been at this for about 4 hours. It's very time consuming to do this stuff, but I love doing it. So this was a great way to spend my afternoon. So with that, I'm gonna wrap things up. Like I said, the last video that'll be on this Star Wars jacket will be finishing up the sleeves and getting buttons, getting the buttons attached. So with that, for today, I am done. I will see you all tomorrow. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.